Welcome back to Streamline Investigations. It is Marvin speaking. We're going to go back through all the cases from day one of Streamline Investigations. And I wanted to go back through the Nicola Bulley case. That was the first one I talked about, people. So we're going to just go from when I've started the channel up to date until now. So Nicola Bulley was a British woman who disappeared while walking her dog in St Michael's on Wye, Lancashire on January the 27th, 2023. God, it's absolutely flown by the time. After an extensive search and intense public speculation, her body was found in the River Wye on February the 19th, 2020, and an inquest concluded in June 2023 that she died from accidental drowning. Disappearance and search. On the morning of January the 27th, 2023, Bulley dropped her daughter at school and took her dog for a walk along the river. She was last seen around 9 a.m. At 9:33 a.m., a dog walker found her mobile phone on a bench beside the river, still connected to a work Microsoft Team call. Bulley's dog, Willow, was found running loose nearby, but don't forget that dog never ever went into the water. Her disappearance sparked a major police investigation involving drones, helicopters and police divers, as well as significant media attention. Social media speculations and scrutiny. The high-profile nature of the case led to widespread online speculations and the proliferation of conspiracy theories from amateur internet sleuths. Bulley's partner, Paul Ansel, and family were subjected to intense public scrutiny and harassment online during the search. A BBC documentary, The Search for Nicola Bulley, later explored the case and the impact of the online attention on her family. Body discovery and inquest. Bulley's body was discovered in the River Wye, about a mile downstream from where she was last seen. Nearly 3 weeks ago, after she disappeared, a Home Office pathologist concluded that her cause of death was drowning and that there was no third-party involvement. The inquest heard that Bulley was alive when she entered the water, and experts testified that the cold water shock can cause a person to gasp and drown in seconds. In June 2003, the senior coroner from Lancashire ruled that Bulley's death was accidentally discounting suicide as a cause. But obviously, one of the massive points is, why would she go into the water? Because her dog was bone dry, and yet her phone was still on the bench. It just doesn't. The whole scene doesn't make sense to me. And a few of the dodgy characters and witnesses, it's just a little bit bizarre, this case. Kay Louise says in the chat, nothing has ever added up with the case. I feel a massive cover-up by the police. Well, I believe Peter when he said she wasn't on the riverbed. He's the only trustworthy guy. I agree. But like I said, I think the police knew a lot more than what we did. I agree that his sonar didn't pick her up on the riverbed. I believe, though, she was in the tidal area from the beginning and could have been moving. It's possible. I believe Peter Folding, her body was not on the bottom of the riverbed. He's the only one I believe too. So her body managed to float 0.25 miles and were under an hour, but took 3 weeks to get to the location. He spotted it. Yeah, it's weird. It is very, very strange that. I just want to look at some of the replies on that. For all anyone knows, she could have been where she was found from the beginning. Body sinks until it starts to decompose, and that depends on temperature. Tell me you don't understand water and bodies without telling me. Let's get straight into this video, people.
Okay, so remember when the psychic Jason Rothwell found the body and he called the police? And remember when the body was found in the reeds? Do you remember that? And that Jason wouldn't talk anymore about it? Well, I guess he has. So this is from Twitter. He being the psychic Jason Rothwell, is saying that her body was floating around 0.25 miles away from where she then drifted to the overhanging tree as they rang police. So, people who say the spot is right opposite the lay-by, he's saying the tree was opposite the lay-by, but the place he first spotted her was different. So now this is Jason, the psychic, who says, yeah, all the psychic stuff aside, says the psychic, I can just clarify that lay-by is not actually part of the situation. If you were to wait for the inquest, the actual initial location of her body is another 0.25 miles away from the place mentioned. This is another bombshell. So now we not only not have the body in the reeds, we have the body actually in the river. We have the body floating down the river. Are you kidding me? And this guy said, oh, I'm not going to talk anymore about it. This is probably some of the biggest, most important information that there possibly could be. And he drops it into Twitter like an aside in a conversation. Yeah. I'd be really interested in knowing what you guys think.
The only one really who come across, what to me is honest, was Peter Folding. I mean, there was some weird stuff from the police, obviously the videos of her leaving, the way some of the family were acting like her partner. It was all of this. I'm not basically, I don't think her partner did kill her, but like I said, but I think there are people who know a lot more, like the authorities, in the truth of what happened to her. I mean, did she get into an argument? Was she pushed? It's just all a little bit strange at the end of the day. That obviously dodgy old bloke who seemed to be umming and ahhing in what he saw and what was happening. It just seemed a little bit bizarre, to be honest with you. It really does. Danny says, I don't know if you have watched The Armchair Detective on YouTube. He was very factual, no speculations, brilliant moderators. The whole word describe it is nothing surprises me anymore. But like I said, will we ever get to the bottom of the truth? I'm not 100% sure, but there's so many red flags out there. We'll move on to part 2, people. This is by Break the Ice, and basically they're talking to Peter Folding of him finding Nicola Bulley in the river. Let's get straight into this.
Confidently. If Nicola was in the river, I will find her. I can guarantee you that.
Well, I did find her in the river. The target we identified was Tuesday the 7th of February 2023. I commenced my search at 10:28 that morning, and 6 minutes later at 10:34, I located the target.
So where you were searching on day 2, which was this was the area that you wanted to search on day 1.
That's correct.
So you would have made that discovery after 6 minutes of arriving on the scene.
Yes,
overall.
That's correct.
Very interesting. You've stated on a few occasions that if a body is discovered in water using a side scan sonar, there's no mistaking that it is indeed that of a body. And that is backed up in your book, where there's a very clear image of a body in a river. So when you made the discovery, the target in the River Wyre, were you 100% sure that's what it was?
I was totally sure that took human form straight away, and it needed to be dived straight away.
Right.
Because it was the shadows of 2 arms, 2 legs, whatever, that needed an immediate dive.
Yeah.
And that's what we wanted to do. When I contacted the police search advisor, I said, we need to put divers in now. We'll put our divers in. But he refused that request. And he said, you're not to dive. We will dive.
Did you believe the discovery of the target to be Nicola, going off the size of it?
I did.
straight away.
Straight away, yeah.
Can you tell us exactly where this target was found and how far, more importantly, from the bench was it? I think people will be very interested to know where this target was actually found.
The target was found approximately 75 metres from the bench.
75 metres.
75 metres just down the river from the bench, which again fits the pattern really of a person who is however she got in the river, and we'll never know, but whether she fell in or she was pushed in or I don't believe she jumped in, but it was one of these. She's in the right area.
So had the police and other search teams already searched that area where you found Nicola prior to you searching?
Yes, it had been searched thoroughly. I was told that the police divers had searched it 3 times.
See, that amazes me that there was 8 to 10 days of searching and she was 75 metres away. That's baffling.
It's very interesting. During the inquest video, PC Thackeray was tried to do a reconstruction of how Nicola would have behaved in the water. Now, when a body, like I said before, goes to the bottom, you've got a police diver. He's laying on his back with a GoPro camera on his head, and he said he's floating down the river, and Nicola would have, bearing in mind he's in a rubber dry suit.
Yeah.
He's paddling himself along, one-dimensional because there was no camera crew on the bank filming him, what he was doing. There was just him. And
he's alive.
And he's alive. And he's paddling himself down the river and over the weir. And he said he would have gone down and she would have about 300 metres down, popped over the weir. That's how she got over there. And firstly, that's not actually independent at all because he works for Lancashire Police. He's on secondment. Interesting in the video, and this is a really point what people need to see. He said, and Nicola, when I found her, she was on the target, the image, just past a little island in the river.
Oh, yeah.
75 metres down. It jutted out. It wasn't called an island. It was just where it banked up over the years.
Yeah.
He said, we searched to this area. I remember searching up to this point, and I think we searched past this bit. I think, yeah. If you'd done a proper search of that river, Nicola would have been found the same day.
What's the feeling that you get when you think like that's Nicola in there? Is it sadness that the hope of her being alive is gone? Is it satisfaction that you fulfilled your job? Is it relief that you can bring closure to the family? And you can end public speculation. Like, what's your feeling?
No, it's total sadness, and then you think that this is a mother of two girls.
Yeah, that's the saddest thing.
Yeah.
That's the saddest thing. Once you've made that discovery, what's the first thing you do? Is that when you go and speak to the police?
Yes, and it was a phone call on that day. I made a phone call to the police, and then I just sent the image, the screenshot of the laptop, what I had in front of me.
Once they've gone in and they've dived, do you then wait for them to confirm if it's Nicola or not? Are you privy to that information?
No, well, I didn't. I continued sonaring because the media didn't know what was going on. And again, this was the only operational bit of information that I had.
Right.
I never, although I spoke to the media on occasions, there was no one else to speak to. But I didn't because the media said to me, what's happening? I said, I'm not sure. I think the police are doing a bit of diving down there. And we just, to take the interest off of that area, we just carried on sonaring up the river.
Oh, like just keeping busy,
Keeping busy. I didn't want to draw attention and then all stand around. I mean, what we would normally do, we would normally drop a float in, a shot buoy with a weight on the bottom, like a lead weight, and it would mark on the surface.
I suppose you can't do that in this scenario.
There was too much media. There was no cordons.
Yeah, and a lot of sleuths as well.
And how long before they come back and updated you on what
were on site,
on what it was that you'd located?
I got a message passed through my dive supervisor to me, and they just come back and said, target's negative, it's nothing.
Target's negative? What was your first thoughts when you heard that? Because obviously with your expertise and your experience, you know what you've located, really, don't you?
Well, I was baffled because I'm never wrong on these targets. I wanted, obviously, to go back and recheck that.
You wanted to go back? When was it then?
I wanted to go back that day, and we did. So we did go back to that area once the police had gone that afternoon.
Once they'd gone?
Yes.
And did you did you go down with your sonar again?
Yeah, re-sonar.
Did you get another image?
Yeah, I got a number of images. Yeah, a number of images.
Clearer, different, more. Did it reconfirm what you thought you knew?
They were clear. They were very clear. But the police said to me it was nothing. and I felt pretty deflated, to be honest. And I'm thinking it can't be nothing, but maybe they're right, and they must be right because you brought up to trust the police, and I trusted the divers, because I've worked with police divers. You know, they're good divers, and I've got no doubt about that. So I trusted their.
I must be confusing that, because you've got your own knowledge and experience, and you know what you see with your eyes on the sonar. You've got quite a strong idea of what it is, and then you're being told that it's negative.
Yeah, I just felt
Very
deflated.
strange.
The team did.
Very
thought,
strange.
Okay, well, if there's nothing there, there's nothing there. But what's creating the shadows? You see, that the bit I wanted to do was get in the water and have a look for ourselves.
Yeah.
That was the key bit.
And
And you weren't able
the
to.
police should have allowed him to do that.
What was your response to what the police had told you? Did you?
Well, I ended up doing a media statement that afternoon, because again, the media were everywhere, which you can't blame them and say they're doing their job.
Yeah.
But as soon as I got out the water, and then they saw us working, said, well, is the river clear? And I said, well, categorically, she's not in this part of the river, because I was totally baffled, and I trusted the police on that part. But then I went back to the hotel that night, and I sat there, and I was totally, told my wife, I was totally baffled what was going on here. So the following morning, I asked the police to say, we want to go back and just recheck that area, but that was refused.
You weren't allowed to go back?
No, we weren't allowed to go back, no.
And when was this? Was this the day after you wanted to
This
go
was
back?
on the Wednesday, yes.
Monday's when you arrived, Tuesday's when you made your first discovery on the sonar. Then you went back later on when the police were gone to have another search, and then you asked to go for a third time, basically. You can't deny you were doing your very best to try and confirm whether this was Nicola or
That's
not.
what we need to do, is try and confirm or
Yeah,
deny
definitely.
them.
Wow. So there's the full extensive interview there, people, that you get exclusive interview on my channel YouTube. So you can finding Nicola Bulley, Peter Folding. Very, very interesting. I have seen it and it's absolutely brilliant, but I obviously couldn't put the whole thing on here. So, but what we are going to do is just look at a few messages, what people are actually saying. Peter did his job, he found her, and he was used as a scapegoat. Ben said she was murdered. The amount of times I've heard that is unbelievable. Kaylee says, police are covering up murder. I believe Pete, he's speaking out from his side. He's got no reason to lie, and he's the expert. For some reason, why didn't they want him to find a body at that time? That's very true. The body in the phone was put there. Okay, Miss Marple, I agree. The guy has no reason to lie. The police have ruined this guy's reputation. I agree that people with the brain cell see, though, that he seems to be a good, honest man, which is more than we can say for the majority of the police force. Peter did his job and found he was used as a scapegoat. Why would this professional lie? No, there's no reason for him to lie. Police are institutionally corrupt at senior levels across every single police force in the UK. I believe him. The police didn't listen to this man. He found her location within 6 minutes flat. He told the police where she was, and they said he was wrong. He wasn't. They were. Lancashire police failed her and her family. Why did the police not want her body found quickly? This is the most important part, people, to this case. They didn't. Not everything in life is a conspiracy. Oh, okay. Why did the police now bring her body up as soon as it was found? I thought a passerby's walking the riverbank found her. No, it wasn't. It was this sidekick, Jason Rothwell, which was quite bizarre at the end of the day. But like I said, everything has to be proven factually. I think the police did know a little bit more because obviously strange things had been said after that about them, to be honest with you. Why would this credible professional lie? He's been used and he's telling the truth. I believe what this guy's saying. The police threw him under the bus big time. I totally believe him. Yeah, I think they used him as taking the bullet. Should it take for some reason? For some reason, you've got to ask the question is, why didn't they want her found? That is really, really bizarre. Let me know what you think, people. This will go out on Streamline Entertainment and also Streamline Investigations. Thank you very much for all your basically messages and response. But this is this is still a strange case. But I am going back through all the cases that I've put out on Streamline Investigations, people. So it will be one a day. But I thought this was quite important to put out on Streamline Entertainment as well. Thank you. And don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already.